Hey guys, Harris here. So welcome to House Uncovered series. So in this series of videos, right, I will be deep dive into projects, mainly looking at the components, feature, as well as some of the key facts, numbers, as well as market trends that you may not able to find in brochures or showroom. So at the end of the video, I will rate the project based on these 5 aspects, including long-term rental, short-term rental, capital appreciation, future readiness, and livability. In order to give you a more thorough explanation so that you can see not just the advantage, but as well as the disadvantage, I will rank the project based on these 5 aspects. Number 1 is long-term rental. So when we talk about long-term rental, I'm focusing on whether does the property has the potential to be able to target tenants which are looking for 1 or 2 years tenancy or even more. And normally, these type of tenants are found in like family, working professional, or students. So our goal here is to achieve low risk and stable rental return. Next, we will look at short-term rental. So in short-term rental, we are looking for properties which are suitable to rent out either daily or weekly. Our goal here, of course, is to achieve high rental yield so that we can immediately get positive cash flow. So the factors to consider in terms of short-term rental, we will look at the proximity to hotspot, which means to say, is there any place that can bring in tourist market or business travelers? Thirdly, we look at capital appreciation, where here we are looking at whether does the property has the potential, to increase in price, be it 2 times, 3 times in the coming 5 to 10 years. So what we are looking for is that are there any catalysts or booster in that area surrounding the property that can result the property price to appreciate. Next is livability. So why is this important? Because livability will determine your tenant retention as well as future resale value. And what we look for in terms of livability is that we will look at the density, the facility, the developer, as well as the vibe of the project. And most importantly, lastly, is the future readiness. If your property is future ready, normally you will have concepts which align to the future demand. And when I mean future demand, it can be as simple as, for example, is it a transit-oriented development where it's actually conveniently linked to public transport? Or is it like it has a wellness concept or elderly-friendly feature in the project itself that can ensure the property can last? So with this, let me make a disclaimer. This content is for educational and informational purpose only. All analysis shared here reflects my personal views based on the available data in the market. This is not a financial, legal, or investment advice, so please conduct your own due diligence before making any property decision. So hope you enjoy the content. Let's go. All right, guys, so today, right, we're going to talk about Causewayz Square at JBCC. So the answer that we try to find out is that how does this market actually position itself in the JBCC area? Is it just another condo, or is a condo that provides something different to the market? So as an investor, should you buy into this project or should you not? So let's talk about it. So let's look at the overview of Causewayz Square. So Causewayz Square is actually located along Barcode. Right? It's actually quite easy to spot. Right? Based on the map, you can see it's a triangle land and it's by Exim, which is considered quite popular nowadays, especially in KL. And they're also venturing into other states too, like Malacca, Penang, and Sabah too. So you will see more and more Exim projects down the road. So in JB, right, actually this is considered Exim's second project. The first project is actually located at Kabunte, which is that one is more focused on residential. Here is focusing more on the link bridge to Seattle, which I believe they are targeting those who travel to Singapore. And for this project, it's freehold, which I think if you are shortlisting project, freehold project, for investment long-term wise, I think this project can be in your shortlist, right? And total units is 4,005. And for this one, some may ask me like, is this considered okay? Is it considered too much, or is it considered just nice, right? So later we're also going to discuss about it. Maintenance fee, 36 cents per square feet. I think that this is actually a very reasonable price, especially in this part of town in CIQ, right? And then price range is from 600K to 1.1 million. I think also nothing very surprising, right? I find that this price is actually quite acceptable. I mean, even for foreigner, the minimum entry price is also 600K, right? And completion date will be 2029 for the 4. So it's another about 4 years. Okay, so this is roughly the overview. Now let's zoom into the location of Causewayz Square. So if you watch my previous walkthrough video, I actually walked from the site to the JB Central. So it took me about 6 minutes, which I find that it's nice, it's okay, it's not very far. Okay, I mean the whole stretch of walkway is covered, so I didn't really sweat much. Okay, so from JB Central, if you go to RTS, it's another 400 meter. So I presume it's another 5 more minutes. So actually from site to RTS, as what they advertise, they say it's about 10 minutes. I think it's quite achievable. Okay, so other than that, I think previously I've also talked before that this is existing link bridge, right? The red color line, and the yellow one is what the Exim developer will extend and connect to, right? And further down is the RNF LED. So from here, you also can go to JP Central, where there you can find KTM. So actually right now there's a ETS, electronic train, which connects directly to Chiao Central too. So I've also taken the train before. So if you want to watch my experience, you can also find my sharing on my YouTube channel about me taking the ETS from Chiao Central to JP Central. Now, let's look at the orientation. So there are a total of 4 towers here. Okay, A, B, C, and D. So you can see that every tower has its own name. So actually, Exim has this trend where all the towers will have their individual name. So Axis, Brixton, Dover, and Coven, right? This stands for the tower's name. The project itself is called Causewayz Square, right? So in terms of facing wise, you can see that actually Tower B and D, right, will be partially blocked by the existing residential here. So there are a couple of projects ongoing here as well. So you might be blocked partially. So if let's say you don't want to be blocked, you can either go for the facility facing. Okay, so inside here is actually the facilities. And then for Tower C and Tower A, you can see you can get the unblocked view as well, where Tower C is facing towards the CIQ. Tower A, okay, you can see some of the Sunang Beach as well from here, right? So here is actually an unblocked view. All right, so now let's look at the composition of Causewayz Square. So here there are actually 4 towers, whereby 3 is under residential and 1 is catered for short-term rental. So for facing wise, right, you can expect C and A will be facing towards JB, D and B will be facing towards Singapore. And then for unit wise, for residential, you have Tower C with 833 units, Tower D with 1,527 units, and Tower B with 1,257 units. As for Tower A, you have 908 units, and it's exclusively focused on short-term rental. Hence, if you're taking under the Mana, which is Exim owns operator, okay, they will also do the fully furnished for you. Okay, next, I also break it down the unique composition by the layout types. And here, I actually separate the 2 types, residential and short-term rental. As for residential, you can see the smallest layout will start from 1 room, okay, then followed by 2 rooms and 3 rooms. Of course, the most amount you need are 2 rooms, followed by 1 room, then followed by 3 rooms. And the least is actually the dual key, right? The 3 rooms dual key. So if you are looking for dual key layout, right, I believe that the 3 rooms dual key right now is fully sold already. So you may want to consider Tower Axis dual key, right, which is the focus on short-term rental. There you have actually more options. Later I will also explain to you, if you invest in the dual key, what is the estimated rental, and also if you buying for stay, how would the arrangement be like? Because for the short-term rental, they actually have a complimentary stay as well, which I find that is quite convenient if you are buying as a holiday home, right? But if let's say you want to buy for like long-term stay, right, then I think the 2 rooms or 3 rooms will be quite a good option based on the layout plan. Okay, so now the next question is that, is this project considered high density? Because there are about 4,000 plus unit, right? If you, based on the 4,000 plus unit as a number itself, of course, some may find that, wow, it's like quite high dense, right? Because normal project, maybe you can find like maybe 1,000, 2,000 units. But if you look at the grand scheme of things, based on the composition, which is quite evenly spread, I think it's still okay. It's not like it's fully concentrated on one type of layout. Because if let's say it's fully concentrated on one type or 2 type of layout, then yes, right, 4,000 plus unit may sound a bit competitive. But here, because they are evenly spread, so I think it's still okay. So now let's talk about concept, because this is one thing that sets Causewayz Square apart. So Causewayz Square have actually 2 things, residential and commercial. So the commercial will be at the bottom and the residential will be at the top, right? And then it will all link by this covering bridge to CIQ. And here, just to show you what are the commercial elements inside Causewayz Square. So to give you some perspective, right, I actually taken some actual photo from the project done by Exim Previous, which is at Miller Square. You can see these are the cafes and these are the groceries. So what they add on top of that are the hardware shop, pharmacy, telco, and so on. Of course, these are all proposed at this point, as you can see from here. But I do think that this concept is good, right? Because majority of people who work in Singapore, when they come back home, is actually very late, right? So they may not have time to actually cook. So having all this within the doorstep, right, will be very convenient. So it's like even you want to makan breakfast, you want to eat breakfast, eat lunch, you don't even need to think, like just walk down and you can get your stuff done. So you even save the, driving time or walking time. And based on Exim past projects, right, what are the similar projects they have done before? Of course, Miller Square is one of it, which is in KL. They also have a upcoming project at Penang, which is the Lighthouse, right? And then, of course, in other states like Kuantan, Kelantan, they also have like mana focus projects. So actually, I would say Exim products are quite diverse. They are not only doing high-rise, they also do Airbnb projects, which is managed by Mana. They also do mixed development, right? So for Causewayz Square is combination of everything. They have the on residential, mixed development, and the Mana. Exim, all this while their track record has been quite consistent, where you can see brochures and actuals are quite similar. And this is also one of their, selling point, right? Where they will say that their completed project and their brochure is almost 99% same. And of course, for Exim right now, they have this Mana Hospitality, which is also listed, right, in the main market of Bursa Malaysia. And then under their arms, they have 3 brands. And how do you see this? It's like, Toyota, you have Lexus, sort of, that kind of idea, where you have different brand. So I believe this brand will have carries its own type of, probably their personality or type of services, right? So which one is the best is for you to find out, right? So a bit on Mana, because why we need to know this is because they are managing for the tower axis. So if you're buying axis, right, they'll be the one who manage for you. And they have established since 2016, which I find that actually for Airbnb operator, to survive for almost 10 years shows that, Airbnb is on an upward trend in Malaysia, especially. But of course, as the market actually, developing, Mana also diverse themselves into different products. That's why you can see they have a lot of rooms and in a lot of states too. So what they do is that, of course, they will compile all their market data based on what they have done to actually come up with pricing, to come up with process SOP that convenience the guests to stay. That's why they have all this management system, and they also do their own marketing. So with that, right, now let's go into the main part, which is, so which one should you go for, right? Short-term play or long-term holding strategy? So why this question I find is important because Causewayz Square, I would say, is a unique product where they combine both, okay, short-term and long-term in one single project. That's why when it comes to choosing the right one, right, it's very important to know that, okay, what are the main difference? So with that, right, I've actually done an analysis for every layout, okay, based on the current market demand to see which layout comes with the highest possible cash flow. And here, let me show you. So let's start from the smallest layout, which is 101 baht. So based on the price 600 plus thousand, this is the original SPA price with 30% down payment and the monthly installment based on 70% loan is about 2,003. You can see that based on the current rental, which I use 5.5 PSF as estimation, right? The cash flow is break even, which means you don't earn much and you don't lose any. But if you want like positive cash flow, I can go for 2 rooms, 2 bath, where you can see based on the price 900 plus thousand, using 30% down payment and 70% loan, the monthly installment with maintenance fee included is 3,004. And based on the rental demand in the market right now, which is 3,006, you can get a positive cash flow of 150. right? So this is assuming you rent out the whole unit, okay? Let's look at type E, which is a 3-room 2-bath, using the price 1.1 million, okay? 30% down payment and 70% loan. The maintenance fee inclusive every month, the cash flow is about 4,002. And for this, based on rental 5.5 per square feet, at 4,006, you get 400 ringgit money cash flow. So this calculation are based on the SPA price without any rebates, as well as the down payment, assuming you get 70% loan. So if you want like the exact breakdown of the pricing, right, you can reach out to me. I can show you the exact breakdown. Okay. Now let's look at the dual key. For the dual key, okay, based on the price 1.2 million, 30% down payment, 70% loan, the every month estimated outflow is 4,005. Okay, but for dual key, because you can rent out 2 units at once, where one side you can rent as a studio, getting you 2,000, and another side 2 rooms, earning you 3,000. The money positive cash flow, is 5,000, and the positive cash flow is 500. So definitely dual key has the highest upside in terms of positive cash flow. So if you want more, all right, I have actually worked out the tower axis for comparison purpose. So let's say assuming the studio, which is 590,000, based on this price, the every month monthly is about 2,000 ringgit. And for dual key, okay, this is the 2 rooms 2 bath, based on 950,000, is 3,003 per month. So let's say assuming these two is your money. So based on the current data in the market, if you rent out as a short-term rental, what is the per night rate that you can get? So here I actually compile, okay, I separate into 4 categories: 5-star, 3-star, premium, and normal, right? So 5-star in JB right now is about 1,005 per night. 3-star is about 650 per night. And I'm using the normal season, not like peak season price, right? For premium, we use 300 as estimated, and normal is 200. So the difference between normal and premium will be, normal will be those like condo, right, where they convert into Airbnb, right? Premium is like what you are seeing here in Exim, where they have like concierge, they have dedicated operator. So that itself will actually, I believe, okay, will set it apart, right? So hence I put the price at a slightly higher. So with that estimation, the studio price, okay, based on mana estimation, right, every month can generate 3,003. So 3,003 is after deducting the utilities, all right, after deducting the profit sharing. So with that, right, if compare the monthly outflow with 2,000, you still can get about 1,000 plus per month. And then for dual key, which is at 400 per night, right? So the after deducting, right, the profit, okay, net will be about 5,008, which is after deducting the installment, right, you can get close to 1,005 per month or 2,005. Yeah, about there. Okay, so before I give my scoring for this project, right, let us look into the price. So in order for you to able to understand easier, I actually come up with a way to illustrate how I actually look at the price of the project to see whether is it priced according to market, is it overpriced, or is it underpriced. And here I actually come up with this price benchmarking system. And again, this is for me to easily explain. Okay, so if you need more further data, I will also suggest that you can make your own research. But here is how I actually would price it. So based on the current supply in the market near RTS, I can see that the average price right now is about 1,000 per square feet. So because today, right, as we look at Causewayz Square, it's a link bridge project to RTS. So here I actually put it additional 20% price premium. And why I will put it higher than, let's say, example, the concept is because I believe as more and more supply in the market, right, especially near the RTS, having link bridge will always be the priority as far as not just for tenants. I think for resale too, people will look into that because having a link bridge means the development itself is integrated into the RTS. So here I actually put an additional 20% premium. And for the mixed development concept, why so I put it additional 10%? Because I believe in future, people will value convenience. So having a retail right below, right, I believe we're definitely able to pull in more tenants too, be it short-term or long-term rental lah. So for freehold, I actually put in a 20% premium because normally free and leasehold will have a price difference of 20%. As for fully furnished, I put only additional 5% premium. Of course, this is just based on normal furnishing. If you want like more premium, of course, the price per square feet will be more. So if you are taking Causewayz Square, let's say the fully furnished package, all right, so this is how much it will worth. And of course, developer factor, why I put there 5%, also the same thing, because as more supply in the market, I believe people in future will value branding, planning, workmanship over just pricing alone. So with that, right, if in future you see any projects we have the similar feature, okay, this is how I will count the price per square feet. So right, based on the final verdict, which is at around 1,006 per square feet as a fair pricing, I think Causewayz Square is priced fairly, okay? So for my last verdict, what do I think about Causewayz Square? So I think Causewayz Square, right, the strongest play will be the short-term rental. The reason so because so far I haven't found any project in JB which had a similar concept, okay? Not just because of the operator, but also the condo itself, right? Where you have sky pool, you have concierge. So I feel like in JB right now, because there isn't much option for that, so it definitely will be quite an attraction, right? And also because of the location. And then in terms of the second strong point will be the future readiness. Why so? Because of the link bridge, right? Because in CIQ right now, there are a lot of projects, but not every project is actually having a car walkway. So having that, I believe, gives Causewayz Square advantage. As far as livability, right? Why I put it as a least score because the layout is quite limited in terms of size. So you have to accept that here are more focused on small, middle, compact sizes, right? So there isn't any big layout to choose, okay? And long-term rental, I will rate it as 6, right? Reason so because I think if you want a rental that can cover your installment, okay, I think it's achievable. And last but not least, speaking of capital appreciation, I think for CIQ, you definitely need some time for the property price to grow, as because JB market for the past few years has never had so much of new launches, and because of now a lot of developers are going in to develop. So we may see that for the coming few years, there will be increase of supply of new projects. So with that, right, I don't see that the price will jump up very fast, but it's a safe play as long as, right, you follow how I. And for capital appreciation, I think you will need some time because JB, especially in this part of town, has not seen new supply in the market until lately, where there are a lot of developers actually developing or launching their projects. So for the coming 5 to 10 years, I foresee there will be more new supply in the market. So the price may need some time to increase, right? So with that, I hope that today's session can give you an idea what is Causewayz Square about. Of course, if you want like more in-depth analysis, right, I've also included a link below where you can join my private channel, right? So hope you find this video helpful. Give a like and subscribe and see you at the next video. Bye.